Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Systems Quiz Review Packet. Remember, if you have any questions, you're always welcome to come see me during extra help. I'd be happy to help you out. So what we're going to do all the odd numbers, and you're going to do all the even numbers for homework. And you're going to submit everything on this Google form here. And make sure you hit the submit button so you get credit for it. So, problem number 1 says, solve each system by elimination. So problem number 1, you have 2x plus 3y equals 8. And negative 3x minus 3y equals negative 12. Now with elimination, we're going to either eliminate the x's or the y's right away. So anytime you have elimination, you're going to eliminate the x's or the y's right away. So in this case, to figure out what we eliminate, we have to look to see which ones have the opposites when we combine our equations. So we have 2 and negative 3. Well, they're not opposite numbers, but 3, positive 3, and negative 3 are. So we're going to eliminate the y's. And we're going to combine these two equations and make a 1. So 2x minus 3x is going to get us negative 1x, which is equal to 8 minus 12 gets you negative 4. Then we divide by negative 1 to both sides. And we're going to get x equals 4. So x equals 4 for this particular problem. Now once we solve for x, we're going to take that value and we're going to take this value of 4 and we're going to put it in or substitute that x with the 4. So we're going to substitute right into that first equation. 2 times 4 plus 3y equals 8. So let's write that in over here. So 2 times 4. Now anytime I substitute, I make sure I use parentheses. Plus 3y equals 8. Now 2 times 4 gets you 8. So you have 8 plus 3y equals 8. Then you can subtract 8 from both sides and you're going to get 3y equals 0. And then you're going to divide by 3 to both sides and you can find out that y equals 0. So our final answer is going to be 4, 0, the coordinate. So 4, comma 0. Because you take your x value and you put it in for x. So your x value goes in for x and your y value goes in for y. So that makes you the coordinate. So that's how we solved it by elimination. So your job is to get problem number 2 done, and then we're going to do problem number 3 together. And we're going to solve this system by substitution. So substitution is a little bit different. So substitution, we're going to use the substitution method anytime you have either an x equals or a y equals. So like here we have a y equals. Since we have a y equals right there, we're going to use the substitution method. Because what we're going to do, we're going to substitute the negative 11x we're going to substitute the negative 11x plus 32 into that y. And I'll type it out just to show you exactly what I mean. You have 12x minus 3. Now, anytime you substitute, use a parentheses. So you remember to distribute. So negative 11x plus 32 equals negative 6. So let's analyze that real quick. So we took our top line. And I put the negative 11x plus 32 in for that y. So it's 12x minus 3 times not y, but it's going to be a negative 11x plus 32 equals negative 6. The next step is to distribute. It's going to be negative 3 times negative 11, and then negative 3 times negative positive 32. So we have 12x Negative 3 times negative 11 gets you positive 33x. And negative 3 times positive 32 is negative 96. Equals 6. $12x plus 33x gives you 45x. So you're going to have 45x minus 96 equals 6. Add 96 to both sides, you're going to get 45x equals 112. So 45x plus 112 or equals 112. Make sure all my math is correct here. Oh, so it's a negative 6. I knew I was making a mistake somewhere. There we go. Negative 6. So negative 6 plus 96 will get us just 90. Cool. Then we divide by 45 on both sides, and we're going to get x equals 2. So x equals 2. Now that we got the x, we're going to take that x value and we're going to put it in for x. And we're going to solve for y. I always like putting in the top equation just to stay consistent. But you don't have to. So let's make all this a little bit smaller. So now we're putting that 2 in for the x. So we have 12 instead of x. I'm going to do parentheses 2, close parentheses, minus 3y equals negative 6. So all I did is I just replaced the x with the 2. 12 times 2 is 24. Minus 3y equals negative 6. So all I did next was multiply 12 times 2, and I get 24 minus 3y equals 6. Subtract 24 from both sides, which will get us negative 30. So you're going to have negative 3y equals negative 30. Divide both sides by negative 3, and you're going to get y equals 10. So I got x is 2, y is 10, so the final answer would be 2 comma 10. And that'll be the answer. $2.10. So that's problem number 3. And that's your job to do problem number 4. And I'm going to do problem number 5 for you. So combinations, or walk you through it. You gotta just still do it on your paper. So this is by combinations. When substitution or elimination doesn't work right away, we gotta use combinations. Now what combination does, we're gonna change whatever we're given into a nice, easy elimination problem. But the numbers get a little bit big, doing it the way that I like to do it. So first thing is, the first step is that we're going to take this top number and we're going to rewrite it down here. And we're going to multiply that top number by the bottom line. So 6 is going to be multiplied to all 3 of these terms. This 3, we write it up top. And this 3 is going to be multiplied. Next step, since we have 4 numbers here that are positive, 6, 3, and 3, 6, all 4 of those numbers are positive. We have to make one of them a negative. So we're going to make this top line a negative. Let's top negative 3. And that's for our 3-to-1 ratio. We need 3 positives and 1 negative, or 3 negative values and 1 positive value of these 4 numbers. So the numbers I'm looking at are right here. I'll highlight them for you. So the 6, the 3, the negative 3, and the 6. Those are the 4 numbers that we're always going to look. That's where the location of the 4 numbers. And of those 4 numbers, one of them got to be positive, one of them got to be negative, and the other 3 got to be positive. Or one of them got to be positive, and the other 3 got to be negative. And if it's not that case, you just change one of these 2 values over here on the right-hand side. Next step, we put our parentheses in. So put my parentheses in just to remind myself that we got to distribute to all the terms. So negative 3 times 6, negative 3 times 6 again, and then negative 3 times 0. Then this is going to be 6 times 3x, 6 times negative 9y, and 6 times 24. So we write it out. Top equation, 6x minus times negative 3 is negative 18x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18y. And 0 times negative 3 is 0. Next up, you do 6 times 3, which gets you 18. So you're going to have 18x. Negative 9 times 6 gets you 54. So that's going to be a negative 54y. And then 24 times 6. That gets a little high, but we can still do it. 25, 4 times 25 is 100, 150, 150 minus 6, 146. Now you can remember you could always use a calculator, in case if you have any trouble. Now positive 18x and negative 18x, they're opposites of one another. And then you combine like terms, and it's the same steps as the elimination method, which I'll still go through them right now. So negative 18y minus 54y, that's going to get you negative 72y is equal to 146. Divide both sides by negative 72, and you're going to get y equals negative 2. Now that we solve for y, we're going to put that negative 2 in for the y in that top equation. So I'll eliminate this stuff so we have a little more room. So we solve for y. Now it's going to be 6x plus 6 times negative 2, because our y gets replaced with negative 2 and is equal to 0. Crunch this all out. 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. So we're going to have 6x minus 12 equals 0. Add 12 to both sides, and you get 6x equals 12. And then divide both sides by 6, and you're going to get x equals 2. So your final answer is 2, negative 2. Because remember, our final answer is always going to be in a coordinate for our system. Our solution to our system is a coordinate. That's the answer number 5. All right, number 6 you could do on your own. Number 7 is a word problem here. The state fair is a popular field trip destination. This year, the senior class at High School A and the senior class at High School B both planned trips there. The senior class at High School A rented and filled 1 van and 14 buses. So 1 van, so I'm going to use 1V, plus 14B, B for buses, which equals 600 students. That's School A. High School B rented and filled 14 vans. So 14 vans, so 14V, plus 4B for buses, which is equal to 336 students. So those are our 2 equations. Each van and each bus carried the same number of students. So in other words, 1 van, let's say a van holds 10 students. The 14 vans, these vans down here also holds 10 students, approximately. But I think that's what we're going to find out. So each van holds the exact amount of students. So van 1 and van 2, they both hold X amount of students. The same number of students. Find the number of students in each van and each bus. So we're going to find out right now. So what we could do, not one variable solved by itself, so I'm not going to use substitution. Elimination, I'm not going to use that either because nothing could be eliminated right away. So I'm going to do combinations, the last thing that we talked about. So, I put my parentheses actually in right away so I don't forget. We have 1 and 14, so it'll be 14 up top, 1 down below. This is positive, 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 so I need to make one of them a negative. So I'm going to make this positive one into a negative one. So I have 1 negative and 3 positive numbers, so referring to the first 2 coefficients in the beginning, the leading coefficients of our 2 equations here, and these 2 numbers. Those are the 4 numbers I'm looking at. 3 of them need to be positive, 1 negative, or 3 negatives and 1 positive. Now once I do that, I multiply it out. So 14 times 1 is 14v. 14 times 14 is 196 b, and 600 times 14, that's gonna be 6,000 plus 2,400, so be 8,400. I could always double check, so let's bring up the graphing calculator. Just to double check. So that's going to be 14 times 600. So 14 times 600. Yep, 8,400. I was right. Cool, and then negative 1 times all this. So that'd be negative 14y minus 4b minus 336. The v's are going to cancel out. So that's exactly what we're going to do. The v's here are going to cancel out. So they go by. Now we're going to solve for b. So 196 minus 4 gets you 192. And that's equal to 8,400 minus 336. That'd be 8064. Then you're going to take 8064 and divide it by 192. And we're going to get 42. So B equals 42. Now that we solve for B, that means there's 42 buses. We're going to put 42 in for B, and we're going to solve for V. So 1V plus 14 times 42 equals 600. $14 times 42, let's put that in a calculator. 14 times 42 gets you 588. So that's 1V plus 588 equals 600. Subtract 588 from both sides and you get V equals 12. I'm sorry. Yep, all right, V equals 12. So that means there was 12 vans. So 12 vans, 42 buses. So our final answer is going to be 1242 in a coordinate form. So our final answer is just that, 1242. All right, so that's problem 7. You do problem number 8. Problem number 9. We're going to solve this system by graphing. In other words, we're just going to graph 2 lines on a graph using our graphing calculator and find out where they intersect. So we pull up the graphing calculator, we clear it, we do second plus sign 712 to clear the RAM, hit our y equals button, we're going to type in these 2 equations here. So we have y equals parentheses 2 divided by 3 for 2/3, x minus 5. We take that graph, we see what that looks like. We see that our y-intercept is at 1, 2, 3, it's at -5. the rise of